Hey everyone, my name is Keely and I'm the owner and creator here at Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for this video. I've had a number of requests and suggestions to do a packing video, and that is what I'm going to do today. I'm going to take you along as I pick and pack some of the orders that I received over the weekend, and then I'm going to actually take you right through to me actually posting them out. So the first part of this video, most people may be able to pick up some tips and tricks about how to best package your parcels, whether you are a candle and soap maker or whether you run any other type of business. You can take some of those tips and tricks and apply them into your own business. The second part of this video is probably more so aimed at Australians, because I am using an Australian postal system. I really can't help with any of the overseas systems because I don't know enough about them to give any information. But I am going to take you along and show you how I actually post my parcels, and I'm pretty sure some of you Aussies will learn a thing or two that you didn't actually know about Australia Post. So let's go and start picking and packing these parcels. Alright, so we are in the front of the shop area here, and if you've seen the tour of my workshop, you would have seen this sort of area on there. It's just the bit out the front where when I have customers that want to come around, they can come around and have a look and a touch and a feel, smell of everything we have. So I have all the goodies there. That through there is my rather messy workshop. And then over on this counter here, this is where I do all the packing and wrapping of orders and other bits and pieces. And we also have the soap cure rack. If we come up a little bit, I have got all of the things that I kind of need to pack my orders with. So I've got all of my shipping boxes. I've got all of the sort of stickers and things that I'm after as well. And then at the bottom, let me see if I can get this to go down. At the bottom there, I have all of my sort of wrapping materials that I need, but I will get into that a little bit more in a moment. What I do when I get my orders come through online is I print them up. I use Shopify. I actually had to swap to Shopify earlier this year after someone hacked my old website, and it has been the best move for me. So I'm now on Shopify, and when I get the orders come through, I have the order printer in there, so I just print them all up. Now, I don't usually cover the addresses up, but I have done that just to protect my customers in this video, so I don't have to, scribble on the screen and that sort of thing. So I have covered all of the addresses up, but what I tend to do first is I go through and I highlight certain things. So down here, I highlight the sort of shipping they've got, so I make sure that I am selecting the right one when I'm sending it to them. I've done it a few times where I've gone to send it normal post and then realized it is actually express shipping. It's been very easy to fix, but since I started highlighting them, I haven't been doing that as often anymore, and I usually get it right. The other thing I like to highlight is up here is if someone has ordered more than one of an item, so if it's 2, 3, 5, however many, and that is so that I make sure that I'm aware that there should be more than just one of that particular item. There has been times in the past, I am human, where I have picked and packed an order and missed that they actually wanted 2 of something, and it wasn't until I've gone to put it in my accounts book and I've realized I've mispacked that order. Now, in that case, if you have mispacked an order, don't just send it on to your customer and think that they won't, or hope that they won't notice. Message them straight away. They'd much rather you be honest. I usually message them, and if it's a small item, say I've missed a lip balm, I will usually refund it, because the cost for me to actually ship a lip balm is a lot more than what that lip balm is actually worth. But if I have missed, say, a whole pot of moisturizer out of an order or a whole soap, I will actually give them the option, would you like it refunded or would you like me to send it on? And then I wear that cost. It is a way of me learning to double check my orders when packing. So again, I do highlight if there is more than one of something on an order. So I know there's another one here. We've got lots, which we've got lots of different items, and it just helps me to make sure I've got the correct things. So I'm going to move you around this way a little bit. What I have in here up on my top shelf, let me grab them down. I have some little shopping baskets, and what I'm now going to do is go around and pick each of these orders and pop them into the shopping basket with their little order form. So I'm going to be packing 6 of the orders today. So they are all there in their little baskets. But I've taken you off the tripod so I can show you a little bit more about how I actually organize all of this area around here. We'll start up here up on the top. These are all my shipping boxes and I've got them in various sizes. And the reason is because over here in Australia, when you use something like Australia Post, and I'm sure it's the same around the world, is that your postal system is based upon weight, size and everything like that. So I try and get them into the most economical size box I possibly can. The stuff on this middle shelf is more for packing my actual products, not my shipping, but I do have a big box of samples in there. And across here, for the occasions when I can't use the Australia Post satchels, I have some little invoice envelopes there to put the postal stickers in. I have on here some stickers which you'll see me use once we get into packing these. I have all my sort of stationery, very messy at the moment. Underneath I have my wrapping paper. You'll see that I like to actually wrap all of my parcels or my orders, and I'll tell you a bit more about that later. I have my tissue paper in my top one here. In here are bags for when people actually come around to the studio, so I don't need those today. These are all my shipping satchels in here, and again I will explain that a little bit later. And then I have some ribbons in there as well, and then the bottom drawers are just storage for other bits and pieces. In this set of drawers over here, I have some biodegradable packing peanuts. Now, I do not buy these. These are only ever sent to me by my suppliers. I have never really had to buy packing stuff. Recently, I did buy some bubble wrap that's actually insulated, and that's the only time I've ever bought them because I get sent so much bubble wrap. If you were watching along on the stories on both Instagram and YouTube the other day, I had this sent to me. I had one item wrapped up in all of that bubble wrap, so that just gets tucked under there to be reused later. This is all my spare satchels in there, and then what's in the bottom? Nothing much. So in this big bin here, I have all of my paper shred, and that big box up the top of my soap thing is all of the rest of my paper. Now, if you are interested to find out where I buy any of my sort of packing materials, this is something I am sharing with my patrons over at the $5 and above level, so you'll need to come over there to find out that sort of information. But let's get on to actually putting these orders into boxes. So this is the first order I am going to do. So I'm just going to grab that one out and I'm going to go through and make sure that I in fact do have everything I'm meant to have. So I need a coconut milk and peaches lip balm, which I have got. I want an iced pineapple and tangerine lip balm, which is that one. I need 2 soap savers, which I've got 1, 2. And then I also want 2 Dark Night soaps. Now, when I actually labelled these up, I called them Black Night on the labels, but Dark Night on the website. And it's one of those things I really must change, but have just never got round to. But I do have 2 of those. So this order is now ready to pack. So because I've only got a couple of soaps in there, I'm going to use one of my sort of smaller boxes that I've got so I can make sure it fits into one of my small postal bags. As I said, these come flat packed and they are very easy just to kind of fold up a bit like doing a pizza box. You fold them up and they are ready to go. Now, you could just start packing your stuff in there like that, but I like to line them with a bit of tissue paper first. So in my top drawer, as I said, I have my tissue paper. So I'm going to grab myself a couple of sheets out of here. I pop my box, you probably now actually can't see that, but I kind of pop it along the edge of my paper here, and I just fold my edges in to make sure that it fits inside the box. Whenever I buy my tissue paper, this is actually just half a sheet of tissue paper. I always cut them in halves because I never need a whole sheet to wrap any of my products in. That way I basically double what I'm buying and it just fits nicely into these. So I'm going to put that one in my box like so. And then I'm going to get some more paper. And I'm going to do the same again, but so that it will actually lie across my box that way. Get my paper out the way there. We've got that one folded. I'm now going to lay that inside there. So now it's time to actually organize them in here, and because none of this is breakable, I can be a little bit more artistic. When it's breakable and it needs extra wrapping, you really do have to be very careful about how you're packaging them in here. So I'm going to put my 2 soaps, I'm going to put my 2 soap savers, and then pop my lip balms just on the side. Down on my right here, which just off camera, I have my my crinkly paper. So we're going to pop that in there just to make sure that nothing moves around. Make sure it all stays in there. I find this crinkly paper all over the place, but I do love it. Up on my top shelf, let's bring it down here. I'm going to grab some samples. So we've got mainly soaps in here, so that's what we'll kind of keep to, some bath and body products. If there were candles, then we'll be putting melts and tea lights and stuff in. I'm going to put some hand cream in, and because I know that she does like soap, let's select a piece of soap. That looks like we've got some Refresh. We'll pop that in. Now, I actually know with this order, because I was talking to hubby earlier, this is actually one of his school friends that have ordered from me, and he said, can I please put in a couple of extra business cards? So that is what we are doing in there. And then also up on this top shelf above me, I have my little thank you cards, and I always like to write just a little quick message on the back to pop in there. Alright, so I've got my little message, and I pop that on the top as well. Don't want to get too over the top with business cards, but we will pop them there. And then I just simply fold in my edges. I fold that one over the top there. I fold this one up, and I like to just fold it back and under itself just to give it a nice neat finish. Up in my basket, which is just up here, I have these stickers. These are just a little thank you, and it says, thank you, your purchase made my day. I hope you enjoy your goodies. And then it's got my web address on there as well. And I've had those ones actually professionally printed up for me just to save my printer on all of that color printing. Now I'm going to get my box all closed up. Alright, so that is now all sealed up, but it is not yet finished. You could simply send it off looking like that, but I actually like to wrap all of my parcels. Now, if you are already following me over or are already part of Patreon, you will know why I do it, and I am going to share that here as well. One of my favorite companies to actually order from is T2, and they're a tea company here in Australia, and they make some beautiful teas, and they have shops in the shopping centre, but they also have their online store. And I like to go into the shops and try the various teas, and then I order online, because at one point you used to get your orders, and if you're a T2 Society member, you can still get your orders done this way as well. You can actually get them gift wrapped, and they always used to come with beautiful wrapping paper, beautiful packaging, and it used to just make you feel special. So even though I could actually buy this stuff in the shops, I would still actually always come home, order it online. Used to order enough so I'd actually get free shipping, but even then, even if I didn't get the free shipping, I would still order online just so I got a beautifully wrapped parcel, because there's nothing beats actually getting a parcel in the post. Even when you've ordered something for yourself, it's really nice to actually get it beautifully gift wrapped. So I like for my customers to actually get that experience as well. So I decided a long time ago that all of my parcels were going to come actually gift wrapped. And I have so many of my customers say to me that the only reason they order online, I've got one, she lives literally 20 minutes down the road from me, and she orders online all the time because she wants them gift wrapped. Now, if you are local and you're watching and you do want to have your parcels gift wrapped, if you order online, you can actually select to pick up, and your parcel will still come gift wrapped. I promise, anything online comes gift wrapped. So that's all now wrapped up, and this is where my ribbon comes in. I have got some custom printed ribbon. This is probably the only thing that I really go above and beyond in terms of what I get specially done for my packaging, because at the end of the day it does all get thrown away. So I'm not one of these people that are going to put in, you know, all of these really fancy labels and stuff, because at the end of the day it does cost money to get those sort of things printed up, and they do get thrown away, and someone has to pay for it, and it has to go into the cost of the parcels. So I do try and keep my actual packaging very, very simple. The ribbon is probably the most extravagant thing I actually do on them, but the other thing with this ribbon is that when it comes time to doing things like Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas and stuff like that, that is where this ribbon really comes in, because I can do all of my gift packs with them, and then that really helps to sell those. But that is that little parcel all done up. Next thing I do, so that I remember whose parcel this is. So down in my drawer here where I have all of my postal bags. So I use Australia Post, and I use their My Business Post website. And what you do is you purchase blank shipping bags. Now, depending upon how many you buy at a time, will depend upon how much it actually costs. I buy in 10 bags of 10 at a time in any one size, and then these little bags, to get 100 bags, I think it was something like $15, and they post it to you for free, or it will come with one of the postal vans. So they basically cost you about 15 cents each, and that is why, or one of the reasons why the shipping does appear a little bit cheaper on the website, because you actually have already paid for the bag. Now with the bags you can get small, medium, large and extra large, and you can fit up to 5 kilos in any of the bags, because recently Australia Post actually changed that. You used to only be able to put like 500 grams in this size bag, which was a bit ridiculous if when you had something tiny, or you had something, well, it was more so ridiculous when you had a really big thing that was only 500 grams, but you had to put it in a 3 kilo bag. Now, if it fits in the bag and it's under 5 kilos, it will send. I can't remember, packing and send it. If it fits, it sends, or something like that is what they call it. What I do is I pop my my order into my little satchel here, take off the sticky thing, close it up, and then on this side is the sort of area. You can handwrite your labels, or as I'm going to do, I'm going to print all mine up on the computer. So you've got this area in here. I fold my piece over, and I usually pop it in this way so I can actually see the address, and that is ready for me to actually print up shipping labels later. But before we do that, I'm going to pack some more of these ones. Alright, so I've got those all boxed up. The next thing we're going to go and do is have a look at the Australia Post website and get our labels printed up for them. We are now actually on the next day. Yesterday was a public holiday here in Australia, so the post offices weren't open. So I got all the orders packed. I've also packed the orders I got in late afternoon and throughout the evening, so they are all ready to go as well. And today I'm going to print up my postage labels. Now I generally don't print up those postage labels until the day I am ready to send them, and there's actually more of a personal reason as to why I do that. For me, there is nothing worse than actually ordering from off a company. You order it maybe in the morning and then they get it packed and you get that notification in the afternoon to say that your parcel is being prepared and it comes from Australia Post, which means that a shipping label has been printed. And then you spend the next 3 or 4 days waiting for that email to come through saying that it's on its way. And then finally it comes through, but it kind of really adds to a negative experience to the customer experience, because it means that that sort of whole processing time takes longer because you know that parcel is packed and ready to go. They just haven't got it to the post office yet. It's not that Australia Post is delaying it. It is that the person you have purchased it from has not taken it into the post office. So whenever I print up a label, I get to put in my customer's address and say, send them the notifications. First notification you'll always receive is that it is being prepared, and that means that the shipping label has been printed and paid and printed for. Then the next email that comes through is your parcel is on its way, and that means that that parcel has been taken into a post office and it has been scanned into their system, and you only get that second email once it has been scanned. So it's not that it sits in a post office wait, because they have to scan them pretty much straight away and get them back out of their offices. They don't have a big enough space to be storing people's orders for 3 days before actually commencing that shipping. It is that the person you have purchased it from has delayed getting it into the post office. And to me, that just is a really negative customer experience, and it's something I don't like, so I don't want my customers experiencing that either. So I make sure that the day that my parcels are going to get sent out is the day that I print my labels. Now, on occasion, I have printed them up with the intention of getting out to the post office, and then something happens and I can't get out there, but I do try and then get that parcel into the post office first thing in the morning so that the customer isn't waiting too long for it. The other reason at the moment, Australia Post actually do say on their website, if you are shipping internationally, that if you are doing international postage, you need to get that parcel into the post on the same day in case any restrictions come in overnight upon where they can send those parcels to. Because if that restriction comes in overnight and your parcel is not in, they will not send it the next day for you. So that is another reason I do my labels and I ship them on the day that I do them. Now, as I've said a number of times, I use Australia Post to do all of my shipping. I've not had any major issues with Australia Post. At the end of the day, we are all human. Things go wrong and we have to be aware of that. And on the odd occasion something has happened, and it's not happened for many, many years, they have always been really, really good at rectifying it and getting things sorted for me. Now, a couple of years ago, I was actually using a courier because they were cheaper at the time. And then something went very horribly wrong, and it took about 3 months for them to rectify it. Not only did it cost me money to make sure my customer was happy, it also made me lose that customer as well. They've not been back to me since all this happened, and I just decided I can't actually warrant using that company anymore. And then when Australia Post revamped their postal system, it actually became cheaper for me to use them. It also means using Australia Post over something like the places like Sendle and that sort of thing, which are a third-party carrier. I actually deal directly with Australia Post. If you're using something like Sendle, keep in mind you are using them as a third party. They are not the carrier that is carrying your parcel. So if anything does go wrong, it's really hard to rectify what goes wrong through Sendle because everyone palms it off to each other and you end up losing at the end of the day. But if you are working directly with the carrier that you want to use, you're going to be able to get problems and issues sorted out directly with them, and probably a little bit quicker than through a third party. There's lots of other reasons why I like using Australia Post as well, but I'm going to go through those over on Patreon for all my Aussie ones over there. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to go and jump onto our Australia Post website, and we're going to have a little bit of a look at the app or the website that's on there, and see just how easy and convenient it is to print your labels at home with Australia Post. Alright, so we are going to jump onto the Australia Post website, and over in the right hand corner here we have this little drop down section, and you've got all the different areas you can jump into. The My Post is basically your personal account if you do set one up, and it's where you can track all of your orders, whether they be ones that you send out or ones that you are waiting to come in. We then have e-parcel, and this is for the much bigger sort of businesses that are sending large volumes of parcels. And for these ones you get an account manager, but most small businesses won't be using that one. What you want is this My Post business. So we'll click on there, and it should now take us through to the next section. Now it will either say on here create account if you don't already have one, or as in my case I already have an account, so we are going to log in. It is free to create a My Post business account, and you actually don't need to purchase these bags either. You can use your own shipping materials. So if you are using a certain branded box or anything like that, you can still do that through here. You do not need to use their shipping bags, as I showed you when I put one of those orders into my own little black satchel. Once we are on the main page here, we have our little dashboard, and we can very quickly start creating postage labels from here. Now I'm not going to go into too many of these tabs because there are personal information in here, but I'll give you a quick overview of what we can do. So we've got that create postal thing. You can actually create teams if you have a number of people working for you. And then further down the page here, you can actually quite easily see and track all of the parcels that you have sent out. And again, I'm not scrolling down because I have got customer details down there. You can quickly see about ordering your packaging if that is what you're wanting to do through the Australia Post website. So if you want to order the plastic or the little satchels to go in there. Your orders section is basically like a little shopping cart. So throughout the day you can print up your labels, and then you just keep storing them, and then at the end of the day you can come in, select them all, and then pay and print. So orders is basically your shopping cart on here. History is a list of all of your past invoices, and it will tell you who has actually been included in the postal on each of those invoices. So track is a bit more of a detailed version of the tracking that was down the bottom of the screen here, and you can go right back to the very beginning. The address book. So if you've got a customer that constantly or continuously regularly orders from you, you can actually store their address in here. So the next time you go to send their order, you just type their name in and it auto fills everything else in for you. You then have settings, and in here you can actually update all of your sort of details that you want appearing on your postal label, including your business account, that sort of thing, your business name. You could also then set your printer, so if you do have a proper shipping label printer, or if you have proper shipping labels, you can tell it what you use and it will print onto those for you. I personally just print them straight onto copy paper, and I cut them up and I put them into the little plastic sleeve that's on here. Alright, so let's actually start creating a label. I'm not going to go through one of my customer ones. I'm going to put in basically my business details in here so you can actually see how this all works. So we come into our add order, create a label for your order, and you can see the first thing that comes up, my delivery detail or my postal details. So my name, my business name, and my address. As we scroll down, this is where we come into our customer details. In this box here, once you start actually typing a name, if you have got names already in your address book, they're going to come up in a little pop-down menu here. Now I've chosen to use my husband's name in this because I know I don't have any addresses that may actually pop up when we are doing this, so I'm not revealing any of those. But let's say we're going to send a parcel through to my husband here. We then have our business name, if you want to add that in. That's not your business name, that is if you have had a business buying from you. So for example, we've got Emma who's purchased. I'm going to put AW Soapery in there, just so it looks a bit nicer on the label. This is where you can select where you are shipping to, and if you are shipping outside of Australia, it does help you fill in the custom form, and it is much easier to fill out a custom form on here than it is in the post office. Next type Next is the type of address. So we have residential business, parcel collect, or parcel locker. So by selecting the right type, it then uses this auto complete. So you only have to start typing an address and it will start looking for ones that are out there. Oops. And then once we get to a certain point, we can then select the address that we want. We can then also choose to send notifications. If I know that this parcel is going to someone as a surprise, I don't put that person's email address in. I will send the email to the person who's actually made the order, so it's not actually ruining the surprise. So we've got our address in, and that is what then generates that your parcel is being prepared. Now, if this is my second order from this person, what I will then do is click Save This Address. So the next time they place an order, all I need to do is start typing a name up here. It will give me a drop-down box like it did with the address. If I click on that, it will auto-fill all of that in for me. Now, this field I've never actually used. It doesn't really mean much for me, and it's more of a reference to myself. We then come down to our parcel details. Now, basically, the answer to this question should always be no, and please don't lie about it because it does put people's lives at risk. If you click on yes, you will never be able to finish your order details in here. So we always want to have no, and there should never be any dangerous goods in your parcels. The next thing, I don't fill out the description because people, if it is a surprise, people don't really want to know what's in it. And you also have that thing that sometimes us ladies order things and we don't want our hubbies to know what we've been ordering, so I never fill that bit in. The next section down is about your actual packaging. So the first option that comes up is my own packaging, and this is where I said you don't have to use the satchels that they send, but it is in the long run a good idea to use some of their satchels. They really don't cost much money, but they can save you a lot of money in the long run. So if you're using your own packaging, you need to know the weight, length, width, and the height of your order, and then it calculates it. And the way it will then actually calculate the cost, which will appear down here, it is based off of both physical and cubic weight, whichever one is the greatest. So if you've got something that only weighs 500 grams, but you've had to put it into a box that has a cubic weight of 1.5 kilos, so that's the length by width by depth, it's going to charge you at the 1.5 kilo rate. So it is actually, when it comes to that sort of thing, it is better off to do your actual parcel bags that they do, which I'll show you in a moment. So once you've got all that detail in there, I'm not going to put it in because my band rates will actually come up down here. It will give you the rate that you have got for a standard parcel and a rate for the express, and then you click on whichever one it is that you want to add into your cart, and then it will come down here in order summary. This is your parcel, this is the amount, and then save order. And then you can start on with your next one. Up here, you can also change it through to any of the sort of pre-packaged satchels that we have. So you can go the small, medium, large, extra large, and once you click on that, it will bring up the amounts down the bottom here. And again, I'm not scrolling down because I don't want to actually reveal my band to my customers who might be watching this video. I will let you know that I do win on some orders and I lose on just as many as well, if that's the right sort of term. So it all balances out in the end. What I will say about why I do actually highly recommend getting in these bags. Yes, you do pay to get these bags in. I think if you only buy a pack of 10 of these, it's $2.50 for 10, so it's 25 cents per bag. What happens is if you were to go into the post office and purchase a prepaid small satchel, so exactly the same but a prepaid one, you'd be paying $9.20. If you were to buy this small satchel, which is 25 cents, and you go through the Australia Post website and you say that you're using the small bag, it's going to cost you $8.95, and that's because you've already paid that 25 cents. Once you start buying them in bigger quantities, so I think the next one, if you buy 5 or more, it comes down a little bit more. And then if you buy 10 or more, it comes down even more. So you can actually save yourself about 10 cents per bag on them once you start getting up into bigger quantities. Might not sound a lot, but it's an awful lot over sort of a big quantity of bags, and it does save you in the long run in a business. So that's kind of, the $8.95 is kind of the entry level that we all go into, and is the same price as what Australia Post will charge you plus the bag when you go into the post office to do them. Then you get onto what are called bands, and it's all based upon how many parcels you send. They base it off of every 8 weeks and they average it out. So over 8 weeks, you need to be sending at least 40 parcels over 8 weeks to be able to go into the first band. And they may have actually recently changed that again, because I know it's all changed, but I'm still on the same band as what I was before they made the changes, so I didn't follow up on it much. But basically, that sounds like a lot, 40 parcels over 8 weeks. Oh my goodness, how do you do that? But it's only 5 parcels a week, which is actually very achievable. And you might only send 4 parcels this week, but you might send 6 parcels next week. So you've actually still sent 5 parcels per week. So it is very achievable. And then you get your first layer of discounts. And then the more parcels that you send, the greater the discounts. And you have different discounts for within the same postcode, within metro, and within rural as well. So they all vary according to where they're going, but they can actually save you a little bit of money by doing it that way. So I do highly recommend get your Australia Post account actually started, because whether or not you're falling into those bands yet or not, it is always a good idea to start building that sort of relationship up with them. And the more people that are using it, the more they're going to actually review this sort of thing as well and bring out some extra benefits for us. What I am now going to go and do is print up all of my shipping labels, and then I am going to show you my next sort of step. So one of the other things I really like about using the Australia Post website to do my postage is a lot of people pay me through PayPal on the website, and all that money sits in PayPal. Generally, I use that with suppliers. But the really good thing when you use the Australia Post website is you can use PayPal to pay. So that means I'm actually taking that money back out of PayPal to pay the postage. Makes it much more simple rather than adding it back onto the business credit card. So I really like that feature. We've got details here, so I can see I can either view my tax invoice, or I can click down here to print my shipping labels. Now again, I'm not going to show you this screen up close because it does have my customers' details, but it will come up with all of my shipping labels, and all I need to do is hit print, and it's going to print it out on the A4 paper. I only ever print out in black and white unless I've got express. If I'm using express shipping, I do print it up in color, so we get that nice yellow label which alerts the staff this is express shipping. I have also got some of the express shipping tape from the local post office to put around those orders as well. Just makes it a lot more obvious that it is going to express. Just push the OK button on my printer. It's going to print up my labels here. I generally leave that screen open until I have put all my labels on my parcels, just in case I need to print it up again. But this is almost done. We're going to go and get our labels sorted. Alright, so here's just some of the parcels I am going to be sending off. What I'm going to do is just grab my guillotine. Let's push all those out of the way to give me room. Those are my pickup orders over there. They've all been messaged and told they are ready to go. Let's get these together. We're going to cut these into quarters. So nice and simple. So you can actually print these onto your sticker sheets and then just stick them on your parcel. I prefer to personally put them inside the little envelopes, because it does mean that, especially in the middle of summer when we are in our rainy season, it means that they're not going to get wet labels, and then it doesn't get all distorted. So now that I've got all of those printed up, let's pick up this one, cover the address up the top. Alright, so I've covered all that sort of stuff up. So you can see it will have my customer's address at the top, all about the details. And then down the bottom here, there is a declaration that needs to be signed. And it is to say that you have been honest when you have done this, and that there is no flammable or dangerous materials in any of your parcels. and if you don't sign it, they won't take the parcel. And this is basically to say that it is all clear that if generally our parcels do go by road here in Australia, but on occasion they do send them by plane, and if it has got flammable materials, it can really cause some big dramas. So please, please, please don't do it. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do now that I have got this one all done up is I'm going to grab my phone, and the first thing I actually go into is all of the Australia Post app. So this is where I track all of my parcels, and this is that My Post section I showed. So these are all the parcels that go out, all the ones that come in. I can see who's coming today, who's waiting a collection, and I can basically see what they are doing and whose have already been delivered. So I can see all these people have had their deliveries, so we can get rid of those ones now. What I'm going to do is come up the top here, and we've got a little thing that says add, and I'm going to click on scan code because we've got our code. I'm going to hold it over the QR code until it comes up, and then I put in the person's name, and this one is actually going to Mubu. So yours will be on, well, you would have already received it by the time this video goes up. So I know that that parcel is going out. And what I am then going to do is grab the box that actually corresponds with it. I've just taken out the actual shipping or the packing label. And then I'm going to slide, we'll keep that covered over for now. I will take that off. I'll slide that into my little protective cover, and then what I tend to do once this is sealed up is I seal all the little ears down on here like I did with the black one, and that is to stop the parcels from getting ripped in the post. So I'm going to get all of these ones done up. Once I get all those done up, I then come into my Shopify app, and you can actually scan these codes into the Shopify app so people know that their orders have been done. So let me get all these done up. Of this is for me to now run that all over to the post office. Now when you do the pay and print, there is an option to add a collection, and I've never seen it any more than $1, so it really is worth it. The amount of money you spend in petrol and time going to the post office, that $1 for collection is really good. However, it does mean they won't come until tomorrow to collect them, which is okay if I've got rolling orders, because it all works itself out there. But at the moment, they aren't doing the collection points, so I do need to run them over to the post office myself. They're about 20 minutes away from us, depending how many of the lights I catch on red along the way. So it's not too far away at all. And my local post office is really, really good. He's got a big bin that sits on the counter. So all the little businesses in the area, we just go in, we put our parcels in the big bin, and then off we go again. There's many other post offices in the area where you actually have to line up and take your parcels over the counter, which kind of defeats the purpose of doing it all at home yourself to save yourself some time. So I really do like my little post office for that one. But I'm not going to take you along for that post office run, because there will be people in there that don't actually want to be filmed. Plus this video has turned out to be a little bit longer than what I was intending, but really wanted to share as much information as I possibly could with you. Now if you do want to know more information about things like where I buy my packing supplies from, or any extra little tips I have got about packing orders and using Australia Post as well, come along and follow us over on the Create with Soy and Shea Patreon page at the $5 and above tiers, and I will have all the information over there and it doesn't matter what time you join up, that information will always be there that you can actually go and look for it. So I hope you have enjoyed coming along with me on this little journey of picking and packing and posting my orders. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up and any comments down below. And until the next video comes out, I hope you have a good one, and I will see you then. Bye.